Daylight, my MVVs, welcome. Report has it that, the Jewel's uncle, the Australian pastor or Australian bishop, has started a new drama again. They said this time he has called the royal family, not just the royal family, his own family, that he called the meeting, and that was yesterday, right? And, because everybody was not available to be a part of that meeting, you do know that with the rituals and everything going on in the palace, the Jewel was in the palace for one ritual to welcome her back to motherhood and all of that. And so they were not available. And usually, you know that when the Jewel travels to the palace, okay, it's either the mother or the younger sister will be there because of Prince T, right? So everybody was not available. Now, because everyone was not available to be a part of the meeting, they moved the meeting to last night, okay? Now, last night he now called. It was, a conference call where he said that should anything ever happen to the Jewel, that he would never forgive the brother, that is the Jewel's father. He will never forgive the Jewel's mother. That the problem with the Jewel's mother is that she wants to be connected to the high and mighty, and that happens to be the reason why she has allowed the Jewel to reconcile fully with the great lion. That the reconciliation, they might be happy, everybody might be happy with what is going on right now, but they should know that what lies ahead is very thick and is very big, and it's not palatable, if I may use the word, and it's not going to be okay. Like, it's going to hurt a great deal. That he has had a vision. The vision he had, according to him, the Jewel died in that vision. God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, God forbid. I said this 100 times, and you should say the same. That in his vision, that the Jewel died, that the Jewel was spied in the palace, and the Jewel was spied by poison in the palace. Now, let me give you the picture of the vision that this man said he saw. He said in his vision, he had flown from Australia to Nigeria to attend, a wedding. Yes, that was what he said in his vision. He had flown from Australia to Nigeria to attend a wedding. When he got to Akure, as they were preparing, all his mind in his vision, he thought that it was a wedding. As they were preparing for that wedding, they now started coming to the palace, okay? Now for the wedding. As they were coming, and that wedding was supposed to be the great lion and the Jewel, the white wedding, okay, that they have been talking about, okay? That wedding was supposed to be between the great lion and the Jewel. And now when they got to a palace, nobody had called them to inform them of anything. When they got to the palace, they saw people were crying. Everywhere was, like the entire palace was turned upside down. And he went inside. When he went inside, he saw the great lion, the great lion himself was, sitting, folding his hand, as in with his head down. And he knew something very serious had happened. And then they ushered him into a room. When he got there, he now saw the Jewel. The Jewel was the most beautiful woman, was so beautiful, pure, like an angel lying down there in her wedding dress, and the whole palace, they were crying and crying and crying. That it was on the night of that wedding that the Jewel died. Now, he said he fainted, and he was crying and crying and crying in his dream. Then later, when he turned around, he found out that the man that he had thought was sitting down there and, mourning, that all in a white regalia, looking like the great lion, wasn't even the great lion. It was some other person that was sitting down there, not on the throne of the great lion. Then when he turned to the left, he saw the great lion coming very happily with the Jewel, the same Jewel that he saw lying down there. That he was wondering what happened. What did I just see? Now, when he went back there to look at the person that was lying down there, he saw there was nobody there. The jewel was not there at all. There was nobody. But the great lion, they were coming and people were trying to usher them into the vehicle so they can go to church. Then again, when he looked towards the gate, he still saw a group of women, a group of men that were mourning and obviously taking somebody out. Now, there were two scenes now. The other group, they were mourning and crying and taking somebody out as if they were rushing the person to the hospital or wherever they were rushing the person to. But this other group, he still saw the jewel standing there happily with the great lion. Then it was the same jewel that he saw lying down lifeless there. But he went to that place where he saw the jewel. The jewel was not there again. Okay, so when he now started walking towards the gate to find out what happened. They now said the person that they are taking out, that the person, they had poisoned the person during the preparation for the wedding. Now he became very scared. He became very agitated. According to him, he said that, his dreams are not ordinary dreams. You know that there are some people who will dream and their dreams are ordinary. It won't mean anything at all. But there are some people who know that, look, this dream that I have seen is likely to come to pass or something. And he falls under the category of people who see dreams and the dreams come to life. And so he is he has been so worried. And if you remember, he's been against the reconciliation between the great lion and the jewel. No, he has never ever wanted them to reconcile. And one of the reasons why he does not want them to reconcile, or he never wanted them to reconcile, happens to be because of Ebony, because he feels like Ebony can do something really bad to the jewel. That Ebony's jealousy is not something that anybody can deal with right now. And so that is why he never wanted them to come back together. Now, when he saw this dream, he became very, very agitated. He now called the meeting and he told the father to the jewel, should anything happen to the jewel, that he would never ever forgive them. And there was a very serious altercation right now, as in while he was, relating this dream to them. The mother was very angry, that is the mother to the jewel, because the uncle seemed to be saying that the reason why the mother allowed the jewel to go ahead and reconcile with the great lion is because she wants to stay connected to the high and mighty. This is what has been going on. I just wanted to bring you this update. Do not forget that these are all alleged, rumored, unverified information making the rounds on social media and should not be seen as fact.